going on today?
Good afternoon, sir. It's a navigational and bombing exercise. A Vulcan. Have a good leave, sir?
Yes, thank you. Quite a trip. Where were they bombing?
Here, sir.
Who's the captain?
Squadron Leader Foxall.
Wouldn't mind being with them, I must say. Where are they now?
According to our last message, they shall be approaching a weather ship in about 5 minutes. You can see it more clearly on the chart.
Thank you. Radar, how's the H2S coming along?
I'm putting in a new fuse now, sir. That should fix it.
Good. Find the weather ship as soon as you can.
Roger. Captain, we're a bit low in fuel in number 1 group. Fuel flow and gauges seem okay. Hope to hell we haven't got a leak.
Keep a close eye on it for a few minutes.
Radar to captain. I've got the weather ship. We've passed it. It's about 35 miles east-southeast.
That's not so good, Nav. Check your winds and give me a snap alternation of course.
Right, sir. We're losing fuel from number 1 group damn fast. We must have a bad leak.
Okay. Let me have our exact fuel state. Captain to navigator, what's your jam?
Wind since leaving the target area must have increased considerably in strength. Steer 073.
073.
Captain, we've got 4,000 in number 1. I think it'll be bone dry in 10 minutes. 2, 3, and 4 are okay, with 51 40 pounds.
What now, Nav? Portugal and the North Spanish coast are completely clamped. What about Shannon or St Eval?
Right, sir. Navigator to captain, Shannon and St Eval are equidistant, and if we set course for St Eval, we'll be about 90 miles from Land's End when our fuel gives out. Our position now is 290 degrees weathership K, 35 nautical miles. Time 1425 Zebra.
Roger. Well, chaps, it looks as if we'll have to ditch. Still, the boffins say that this aircraft can take it, so keep your shirts on. Signaller, send out the urgency message on your present frequency.
Very good, Captain. Nav, Pat Casatney, please.
Pan, pan, pan. This is Pedro Zebra. This is Pedro Zebra. This is Pedro Zebra. Pan, pan, pan. Pan, pan, pan. Pedro Zebra. Pedro Zebra. This is Pedro Zebra. Pan, pan, pan. This is Pedro Zebra.
Pedro Zebra, this is St Eval. Roger, Pan.
St Eval, this is Pedro Zebra. My position, 290 degrees, weathership K, 35 nautical miles. Steering, 073 magnetic. Airspeed, 285 knots. Height, Angels 38 at 1425 hours. Vulcan aircraft, severe fuel leak. Maximum endurance, 1 hour, 45 minutes. Estimated ditching position, 240 degrees St Eval, 85 nautical miles. Over.
What is it?
071.
Roger. Your course to steer for St Eval is 071 magnetic. This is the duty air traffic control officer. 10 hour the following. Search and rescue crew to immediate readiness.
Attention, attention, attention. Stand by for broadcast. Search and rescue crew to immediate readiness. I say again, search and rescue crew to immediate readiness. End of broadcast.
RCC Mountbatten here. ATCC, sir.
RCC controller here. Hold on. Get the duty navigation officer.
Yes, sir. Squadron Leader Watson, please.
No.
We've got a panic.
No other panics at the moment. Okay. Pass your message, please. Position 290 degrees, weather ship K. 35 nautical miles, 38,000 feet at 1425 hours. Steering 073 magnetic, airspeed 285 knots. Got that? What is estimated ditching position? 240 degrees St Eval, 85 nautical miles. And what's his call sign? Pedro Zebra. Roger, taking action. St Eval Tower. Flash. RCC controller here. Now the Vulcan. Get your search and rescue plane airborne as quick as you can to intercept Pedro Zebra. You know the whole story. Your call sign, Mike Peter Yoke Jig. Playmate 46.
Contact number 1. Contact number 2.
It's the Vulcan, about 600 odd miles southwest of Land's End. Corporal?
Sir?
Give the details to the squadron leader.
Position
For a flash.
90 degrees.
Duty officer, please.
35 nautical miles.
This is Rescue 19 group here.
Height 38,000.
We've got a Vulcan in trouble. His last position 4 minutes ago was 290 degrees.
Steering 073 magnetic.
35 nautical miles.
Airspeed 285 knots.
Fuel leak. Heading for
240 degrees St Eval.
Get to sea at once. Open watch on 56905.5. I'll give you more precise information on the WT as soon as I know where he's likely to ditch. Got it yet, Freddie?
Yes. Ready for you now.
Good. Be right with you. Culdrose flash. Corporal,
Yes, sir.
open WT watch on 5695.5.
5695.5, yes, sir. Signals cabin? Open watch on 5695.5.
Hello, Commander Air.
What do you think, sir? The plane's in trouble, of course.
Can I have your helicopter at immediate readiness in case the Vulcan goes into the drink within your range? Thank you. Watch is on 5695.5. Goodbye. How's it coming along, Freddie?
I estimate his present position to be at this point.
Captain to crew. We've still got bags of fuel, so let's make the most of it and prepare for ditching now. Stow all loose and unwanted gear. Secure anything that may come adrift when we hit the drink. Position the escape ladder and secure the ejection seats. And get ready a parachute harness. Captain to radar. Any shipping around?
No damn thing.
Okay, we'll keep at it.
Pilot Officer Foxwell. Pilot Officer Foxwell. Pilot Officer Foxwell. I propose you utilize your sleeping quarters for this pastime. Although our Lanks and the American forts are beating the enemy out of the sky, the war is still on.
Sorry, sir.
Gentlemen, the safety of your crew is largely dependent on your personal ability to deal with a ditching situation, and on the confidence you instill in your crew. In ditching, there is little, if any, margin for error. I need hardly emphasize, therefore, the necessity for your undivided attention. The film we're now going to show illustrates states of the sea and angle of approach and touchdown. I trust that during the showing, no one will mistake the darkness for nightfall.
Firstly, it is important to remember that the sea always appears from the air to be calmer than it really is. If circumstances permit, it is advisable to fly low and study its surface. Waves are caused by the immediate action of the wind. There are 5 principal ways of checking surface wind conditions. Breaking waves is the first. Waves break downwind, and this may be observed from a low height. Note the small white horses on the crest of the waves. Wave movement is extremely difficult to analyze at any height. Waves move downwind, but close inshore or in fast-moving estuaries, waves cannot be taken to be moving downwind. Smoke from a smoke float or smoke from a ship. Take into consideration that the smoke lies along the resultant line of wind speed and the ship's motion. The strength of the wind may be gauged from the appearance of the sea. A few white horses indicates about 10 to 20 knots. Many white horses somewhere in the region of 20 to 30 knots. In ditching an aircraft, swell is of far greater consequence than the more obvious but much smaller waves. The pilot must avoid flying straight into the swell. he should make every attempt to land along the swell, irrespective of wind direction, unless the crosswind component is in the region of 25 to 30 knots. For ditching most types of aircraft, flaps should be lowered to reduce the speed of approach and the actual touchdown as far as possible. Pilot's notes for specific types of aircraft should be consulted on this point. The pilot must so handle the aircraft so that he lets down gently. The rate of descent should be kept low, but some margin of speed allowed for the hold-off. This will ensure the most favorable attitude for ditching with minimum forward speed in order to reduce deceleration and extent of damage to the aircraft. To summarize, avoid flying straight into the wave face and make every attempt to land along the swell. Consult pilot's notes for setting of flaps. Aim for flattest possible approach, slowest touchdown and tail down attitude. Symmetric power to be used at all times if possible.
Captain to navigator, check our position. We must be down to our last thimbleful now. Captain to crew, switch off all non-essential electrical equipment. Co-pilot, onto emergency oxygen.
Navigator to captain, we're now 240 degrees St Eval, 115 miles.
115, roger. Now you all know that the rescue boys must be pretty close now, so we'll hardly have time to get our feet wet before they pick us up. Anyone any questions? Okay then. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Pedro Zebra, Pedro Zebra, Pedro Zebra. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Pedro Zebra, Pedro Zebra, Pedro Zebra. My position at 16:02 hours is 240 degrees St Eval, 115 miles. Heading 073 at 300 knots. Estimated ditching position 240 St Eval, 80 miles.
Got it. How long has Playmate 46 been airborne? 40 minutes. Good.
We'll tell Playmate RT to head for the Vulcan's approximate position.
I'll give full search details as soon as I get him on WT.
Right, Wilco.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Pedro Zebra. This is Pedro Zebra. Pedro Zebra. Height, 1,000 feet. Height, 1,000 feet. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Pedro Zebra.
Corporal,
Sir?
get this one off to the rescue launch.
Yes, sir.
Oxen, steer 265.
265. Aye, sir.
Search details from RCC coming up, sir.
Right. Okay, get cracking now. Nav to Captain. Alter heading 227. ETA datum 1621.5.
Hello, Coast Guard, Land's End. A Vulcan. Oh, he's still airborne. You expect him to ditch in position 240 degrees, about 80 miles from St Eval. Crew of 5. Right, I'll broadcast to shipping.
Dickie, stand by to jettison the canopy.
All set.
Okay, away with it. Mayday! 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 This is Pedro Zebra! This is Pedro Zebra! Down to 200 feet! Ditching! Ditching! 50 feet! 50 feet! Stand by! Race! 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 30 feet! Race! Race! Race!
All okay, Art?
All okay, Captain. No leaks yet. Even the bomb aiming window is held, believe it or not.
Good. Diggy?
Coming now, Captain.
Right, let's get out of here as quickly as possible.
Pedro Zebra. Pedro Zebra. This is St Eval calling Pedro Zebra. Over. This is St Eval calling Pedro Zebra. Pedro Zebra. This is St Eval calling Pedro Zebra. Over. No joy. Let's hope they ditch successfully.
Well, thank our lucky stars we got our that in one piece. Radar, how's that nose of yours?
It's throbbing a bit, but it's okay.
Well, we'll have some blast on it anyway. And let's get ourselves sorted out, just in case. Is that Sarah beacon earning its keep?
Well, so far as I can tell, it seems to be transmitting all right.
Good. I hope it's as clear as the Pole Star. Dickie, check that survival kit, will you?
Roger. And I'll draw up a rationing scheme, shall I?
Do that. Well, cheer up, Nav. It's a lovely day for a ride on the briny. And think of all the stories you're storing up for your grandchildren.
They'd probably think I was shooting a line. 3 ditchings are enough for any man. I'm going to get posted to flying boats.
Hold on, Bob. Let's get back on dry land first. Oh, dry up, you chaps. I'm trying to sort out this ruddy grocer's shop.
Second down to Captain. I'm getting faint sailor signals now.
RCC controller here. Good show. Thanks. Playmate 46 is homing to Sarah signals now. Corporal?
Sir?
Put the kettle on.
Yes, sir.
Controller? Right, let's have it. Only 75 miles away. Well, tell the search plane to maintain visual contact and home the launch. Well, they've got them. The captain of the Vulcan spoke to the search plane by Sarah voice. No loss of life and no injuries. They've been damned lucky. What a rotten break to have to ditch, but only a few more minutes would have seen them in. Well, that's enough excitement for one day. Nobby, what about that cup of tea?
Try and get it ready for me if you possibly can by tea time, so that we can get it into the post tonight.
Yes, sir.
If you want me, I shall be in the model room first, and after that in B Cinema. Good afternoon, Squadron Leader Foxall.
How do you do, Mr. Till?
Do sit down. Yes, I'll have that. Thank you. Did you take these?
Yes, thank you.
Did you get much of a shaking?
Well, not really. You see, we had plenty of time to prepare ourselves so that when the actual impact came, it was, if anything, less than we expected. Naturally, I speak mainly for myself and the co-pilot.
Were the others all right?
Oh, they seemed none the worse for the incident. In fact, the only injury we had was that radar got a smack on the nose from the angle poise lamp, which swung forward at the second and final impact.
Serious?
Oh, nothing very much. You know, I think it might be a good idea if the other members of the crew came along and gave you their individual reactions, don't you?
I do. We'll fix it up sometime. Well, what about walking over to the model room as a start? It'll give you some idea how we go about things down here.
Fine, anything you say.
The models we use for our tests are true to scale and weight. They're launched from a catapult and are, in effect, free flight models. We represent as accurately as possible all the features which are likely to affect their ditching behavior, features which will not influence that. Features which will not influence that behavior are either omitted or modified. It takes one man 8 weeks to make a model, so you can see that unnecessary detail must be eliminated. Well, here we are.
Ah, thank you.
Fighters, the Hunter, Javelin, Transport, the Beverly, Bombers, Valiant, Canberra, and here's your Vulcan. As I said, it's a scale model. Weight is also to scale, and estimated on the basis that all jettisonable stores have gone and half the fuel used. One feature we wish to represent was, of course, the failure of the bomb doors. The interior of the bomb bay is also represented in detail on this model.
I must say it's beautifully done.
Yes, it's full marks for our carpenter. We think it's a magnificent job. The bomb aimer's blister, cockpit canopy, and jet tailpipes are also represented. The only control surfaces represented are the elevators, which can be adjusted in 2-degree steps. The Vulcan appears to be a good ditcher, according to our tank experiments, but you are no doubt the best judge of what it can do. After all, you ditched one.
No complaints.
By the way, although the models are true to scale, dimension, and weight, they're not to scale strength. But where the strength of certain items can affect the ditching behavior, an attempt is made to represent these. Now, I don't want to baffle you with science, so let's go and see our film on ditching, which will tell you the story much better than I can. Our main concern is the hydrodynamic behavior of the models on the water. The models underwent 6 separate tests, and it was found that the behavior was best with a minimum forward speed and a low rate of descent with air brakes in.
Right, we're ready.
Incidentally, this film was made by our technicians in the structures department and is meant purely for research purposes.
In 1941, the loss over the sea of 50 Hudsons first drew attention to the serious consequences caused by operating aircraft with bad ditching characteristics. Since then, a large number of models of different aircraft has been tested, and it is now possible to understand why some features cause good and others bad ditching behavior. The Americans have made some full-scale ditching tests, and the one with the Liberator is shown here. An important feature of the aft fuselage is the shape in side elevation. If the fuselage is upswept towards the tail, as in the Liberator, suctions may occur in this region. The effect of these suctions is shown by the attitude increasing soon after touchdown. As the speed decreases, the suctions decrease, and the front fuselage may drop onto the water surface with a heavy impact, and the nose buries itself beneath the water surface. This heavy impact may cause a major structural failure in addition to severe undersurface damage. In this case, the break in the fuselage can be seen just behind the pilot's cockpit. For good ditching characteristics, an aircraft should have 1. A fuselage of circular cross-section with a long streamlined nose. 2. A little upsweep of the fuselage in side elevation. 3. Bomb doors that are strong enough to withstand the ditching loads, or, if they collapse, leave no obstruction to produce a nose-down moment. 4. A tail plane in a high position. 5. Wings low on the fuselage and nacelles upswept on the lower surface forward of the wing. Apart from the considerations of state of sea and wind, the best ditching results are achieved with a low rate of descent and a low forward speed. A high rate of descent and a high forward speed may, in some aircraft, have fatal results. Shown here is the scale model of the Javelin ditching at an estimated airspeed of 82 knots with flaps at 55 degrees. In this test, the speed is increased to 105 knots and flaps are again at 55 degrees. The direct result is a severe bounce, and considerable damage will be suffered by the aircraft on its second impact. The Hunter model, traveling at an estimated 108 knots with flaps at 80 degrees, ditches reasonably well. Even at a high rate of descent, flaps at 0, and a high forward speed, 128.5 knots, the result is still favorable. The Beverly transport must be landed as slowly as possible. It shows a reasonable ditching behavior at 76 knots with a low rate of descent. Increasing the speed to 107 and raising the rate of descent will cause the aircraft to nose under the water. One major problem with ditching bombers is that the bomb doors are liable to collapse. With the Valiant, however, you stand a reasonable chance of keeping your bomb doors intact if you keep your speed and rate of descent to a minimum. In this case, flaps down at 78 knots. If you come in fast, at 119 knots with a high rate of descent, This will probably be the result. The same is true of the Canberra. Observe the behavior of the model at 83 knots with flaps down. And now at 103 knots with flaps again at 60 degrees. An aircraft with excellent ditching characteristics is the Vulcan. When landed at 93 knots and a low rate of descent, the aircraft appears to alight like a flying boat. Even when the speed is increased to 118 knots and the rate of descent is raised, the behavior is still excellent, but there will be greater damage to the aircraft. Planes with long fixed undercarriages cannot ditch successfully at any time. Since, however, good ditching characteristics are essential for fleet air arm aircraft, the undercarriage on the short Seamew has been made jettisonable as a direct result of model tests. The disastrous effect of a fixed undercarriage has been proved full scale by deliberately ditching a Nimrod aircraft, which is best illustrated in slow motion. The undercarriage touches the water long before any other part of the aircraft, and the drag applied below the center of gravity either causes the aircraft to dive in or, in this case, turn over on its back. To get some idea of the instantaneous effect of ditching with a fixed undercarriage, the same experiment is shown at normal camera speed. The pilot, who can be seen swimming away from the tail of the aircraft, is Flight Lieutenant Whittle, now Sir Frank Whittle, the jet pioneer.
That last scene with Air Commodore Whittle was terrific. He got out pretty nippily, too.
Don't forget speeds were relatively low in those days. Oh, thanks. Well, I hope you found all this interesting, which I suppose is somewhat of a leading question.
Oh, no, not at all. But I feel pretty guilty considering all the gen you've given me, and I've contributed hardly anything at all.
In all probability, you'll think of something, and I'll get a phone call from you one day. And as other pilots visit us, so the exchange of information, or to be more exact, practical experience and technical knowledge, will, I expect, in the end, result in better and safer aircraft. I suppose you've had enough of boffins for one day. What did I do with that pass of yours?